Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. I am Brian Boland. Thank you all for joining me once again. So, I wanted to read to you guys an interesting article that I found on a news source known as Newsbreak. And essentially, there's a particular article that talks about a young woman who is basically sick and tired of working hours, breaking her neck, trying to make ends meet, and she could never make ends meet. So she's like ready to just say, forget it. I'm tired of working. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And I'm not talking about she wants to delete herself or whatever, anything like that. What it is that she's just sick and tired of working. And she made this video on TikTok, and it's garnered over like 700,000 views within no time. I mean, and it just goes to show that there are a lot of people that feel the same way. Maybe perhaps, that there's a lot of people that feel the same way. Now, even though I understand her sentiment and understand what she's trying to say, it's a little bit more complicated than what she's pushing off. And I'm going to read to you what she actually had to say. So let's get right into this, and we're going to have a little discussion here about what I think would be the best option, okay, and what I think is going on. Since most people work every day to live the kind of life they have always dreamed of, to fulfill all their needs and get what they want. Yeah. However, when the reward for working is not equivalent to the efforts a person puts in, it might lead to disappointment, especially if a person has to work every day and does not make enough for their survival. And that's true. You're breaking up like right now. I don't make a lot of money. I mean, I'm not going to tell you my hourly wage, but I don't make a lot of money. I mean, the rent has gone up, and so now I'm basically being a little transparent with you. My rent has gone up, and so essentially, I can't pay my rent the first of every month. Now I have to pay it, at the end of the month, so that I can garner enough money to be able to pay it with the late fee. And the late fee is not a drop in the bucket. To God be the glory that I'm able to pay the rent. But my point is, it's a struggle. It admittedly is a struggle. But I'm going to get into the detail of why I don't feel like I'm sick and tired of working and trying to pay these bills, and I'm not able to make ends meet. I want out. I'm going to tell you why I don't want out, and why I think she should look for other options as opposed to what I think she might be saying, okay? But anyway, a woman on TikTok took to the platform to share how she was frustrated with working every day for being paid peanuts in exchange. And I find it interesting because I don't think the article talks about where she worked, what kind of job she had, or where the location of the job was. The article doesn't explain that. So what's going on here? Anyway, going to work every day is stupid. These are her words. Going to work every day is stupid. I refuse to be a part of this. Just listen to what she's saying, okay? I get the frustration. My heart goes out to her, but just listen. I cannot continue to live my life like this. This is ghetto. I'm fed up. The bag is not chasing me. I'm chasing the bag. That sounds real poetic and cute and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, okay. What's your option, young lady? Well, what are you going to do? I'm working and barely want to get up in the morning and come here, the woman began. Meanwhile, there's someone who owns this company living their best life. So you see where this is already leading. Well, I'll put it to you like this. When I first read this, I said to myself, I already see what this is leading. Not that she's privy to it. I don't think she's privy to it. But I do believe that based on what I have read when I first read this article, and based on what I'm reading now, is that she has been to a large extent conditioned to have this attitude of, okay, rich people are faring well. I'm working for these rich people. They're faring well. They're chilling. They're cool. In the meantime, I'm over here struggling. That's basically the sentiment she has, and that's the sentiment that I think is pushed upon a lot of Americans in the school systems and in movies and from liberal politicians. You know where I'm going, to say we need to exchange capitalism for socialism. We can bring socialism in, we can solve all of this. This is where I see this conversation leading, even though this young lady is not aware of that. but I'm getting ahead of myself. She says, meanwhile, there's someone who owns the company, living their best life. I am just a slave. I am a number. They don't even know my name. They know nothing about me, she continued. She expressed how she is being paid pennies for putting in so much work. Here's a little $45K for the year. Meanwhile, I have 44 billion or $1 trillion and I'm happy. I'm in Greece. In other words, the people that own the company, the managers, the board of directors, whatever, her attitude is, hey, we'll give you a little bit of this and we'll take our billions or trillions and we cool, we living in Greece. We'll just give you dribs and drabs. But that's not how it works, boo-boo. That's not how it works. But let's go home. Let's go home. Let's go home. Let's continue. She added, you are sitting there all day for 8 hours a day for the next 30 years. She went on, I can't do this and I refuse to do this. This is one movement that I can't be a part of, okay? Also, she pointed out who made this up. Make something else up because this is stupid. This is real stupid. I see where she's going. I don't believe she sees where she's going, but I see where she's going. And I believe this is going to be used to justify, you know what I'm talking about, bigger government. Let's go on. Boy, I tell you. You can read this. You can see this. So when you really start digging deep, you can see this stuff a mile away. Come on now. She says the video has garnered over 711,000 views. That's what it was. People took to the comments to express their opinions about what the woman said. Many remarked how most people in the current economy are feeling the same. This is what this article is saying, but it sounds like to me this article is more left-leaning than anything because they seem to be suggesting, the editor or the writer of the article seems to be suggesting to me that socialism is the best answer to people who who are getting tired of working. Socialism is the best answer, which is retarded. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. And it's like, for example, few people responded and said, monkey nuts, fuzzy monkey nuts. What kind of name is that? Responded, wrote, my boss keeps calling me the wrong name. I have corrected him twice, and he still calls me by the wrong name. Now, here's the reason why this person says, here's the reasoning, okay? The reason why this person keeps calling me the wrong name, here's the answer. Because they don't care and they're emboldened enough to show how much they don't care. The reason why my boss keeps calling me the wrong name because they simply don't care. But could I just say, maybe perhaps your boss is calling you the wrong name, not so much because they don't care, but because they have 1,000,001 other things that they're trying to do, and they may have 1,000,001 other responsibilities. I'm going to assume that your boss has a family or has problems at home or whatever. You never know what your boss might be going through. What this young lady doesn't understand, and I'm commenting on her, the person that made the response, is that maybe perhaps your boss keep calling you the wrong name. Number one, it could be because you got one of them weird names, Shaquita or Caprita or Katita or whatever, and nobody's going to remember that name. God can't remember that name, for crying out loud. I'm just being joking, but you get my gist. The other reason could be perhaps your boss is going through some major problems herself or him at home, or himself at home, and they just don't have time to be trying to remember their coworkers' names. Okay, your boss is human. Try to help them out all the time. I am so sick and tired of people complaining, man. I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. I'm so sick and tired of people complaining. But your boss could be having 1,000,001 things that they may have to do, and they're going to forget. I'm not good with names. But that doesn't mean the person doesn't care because they don't know your name, okay? That doesn't mean your boss doesn't care because they don't know your name, okay? Should people try to get to know people's names? Yes. People that's close to you? Yes. My boss knows a lot of the people's names where I work at. But, I mean, he's a good one, okay? But he doesn't have to. The boss is not there to care for you. The boss is there to make sure that you do your job and then you get paid where you're supposed to get paid. That's the boss's job, because the boss, guess what, got a boss over them. So let's quit playing these crybaby peep games. I understand the sentiment, but y'all know a lot of times I get sick and tired of the crybaby nonsense. Because I already know where this is leading. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. Let's go on and read you a couple of more. And I like this. It says, Amazing Grace commented. Now, that name right there alone makes you wonder, okay, this person's probably a little bit more conservative. Like, I understand the feeling, but has anyone ever dug deep inside within themselves and not realized those people who are rich and have companies are not really having the best of the times of their lives? No, they're not going to do that, boo. They're not going to dig and think about that because they're too busy farting and complaining about their own plight. They're struggling. They're in such poverty. They're so overwhelmed that they have no time to think. They're not going to think about it because they're oppressed. At least that's what they're being told. So they're not going to think about maybe these rich people that you claiming is enjoying their lives are maybe depressed. I mean, let me add something to that. I've heard of very rich people taking their lives. Gee, I thought money was supposed to solve the problem. Why are you taking your lives? Because it could imply that there's a little bit more going on in that super rich person's life that none of us poor folk know anything about. It says, their life is miserable. Think about it. If you're feeling miserable in the position that you are in, do you think you're going to feel even more happy when you're rich with more money, more problems? And the person has a point there. I mean, the person has a valid point there. But here's someone else said something, made a comment, says, Effortine remarked, whatever the heck that means. That's right. Upper management should be miserable too. Let me say this. What makes this individual who responded to the other comment, what makes them think that upper management is not miserable? Having money, as this person, other commenter said, having a lot of money does not necessarily make everything be all right. Oftentimes, people amass huge sums of money to try to fill a void that's empty. And I'm going to go there. A lot of times, that void that is empty is God. Because God placed a void in every human heart. And it can only be filled by him, not by money, not by women, not by men, but by a career, none of that. You will never find real, true inner peace and contentment until you find God through Jesus Christ. That's my view on that. Okay, yes, I had to get spiritual on that. But all this idea of, upper management should be miserable too. How do you know they're not miserable? Do you go to lunch with them? Have they sat and talked with you? Have they said, I'm just so miserable right now? This person makes the assumption that upper management is happy because they have money. You don't know that, boo-boo. See, the things people say is just foolish, man. The person goes on to say, no more golf trips on company time. How do you know that a lot of these managers are going on golf trips at company time? How do you know that? And the ones that are, okay, let the boss, their heads take care of them. You go and do what you do. If they are getting paid the big bucks, they best be in the trenches with everyone else. No. More than likely, boo-boo, they were in the trenches with everyone else, but they earned their keep as an upper management. If you want to be in upper management and play golf, and let me go ahead and close it on this, but if you want to be in upper management and play golf and have it easy like you think you're going to have it easy if you have more money, then you got to work to get there. But let me just summarize this. Let me just put this on a nudie swoop here. Like I said, I understand this young lady's sentiment. I understand her point of view, and I get it. I get it. I do. I understand her point of view. I understand her sentiment, and I don't like working all these extra hours and so forth, and long hours and walking around and feet hurting, and at the end of the week after taxes and all the rest, I don't have anything. But let me just tell you what I think the issue is, and I kind of shaved into it a little bit at the beginning of this video. I just actually mentioned it. Part of the reasoning for that is taxes. Now, let me just say this. I get what she's saying, but the problem is not upper management. The problem is not the bosses. And a lot of times the problem is not the business. The problem in a lot of these cases, not all, but a lot of these cases, is the mentality of the people, number one. because they've been poisoned and programmed and conditioned by the school systems, by films that have those themes, and by liberal politicians, that the reason why you're struggling and you don't have this, that, and the other is because of capitalists taking your money from you. That is a lie. That's a bunch of bull crap. First, we got to deal with inflation. Businesses and companies don't cause inflation. And I could go somewhere with the inflation thing, but inflation, let's just put it, I'm gonna put a little seed out there, seed thought for somebody. Okay. Inflation has always been in existence in America, but it really blew up after the Federal Reserve was made into law in 1913 by, I believe, President Woodrow Wilson. When he signed the Federal Reserve into law, you know what I'm going to talk about. In 1913, ever since then, and the dollar bill has lost its value. If the dollar bill still had the same value to today as it did back in 1920 or whatever, if it still had the same value, do you think people will be complaining like they're complaining now about, I get tired of going to work, earning this? Do you think they'd be complaining like they're complaining now? Like if a loaf of bread costs what, 10 cents, or gas costs $1, or going to the movie costs $2? If prices was like that today, like it was back in 1920, 1925, okay, and the 1920s was called the Roaring Twenties, and part of the reason why the 1920s was called the Roaring Twenties was because of industry and so forth. And the Industrial Revolution, that really was a booming business. People were starting to see more pay and so forth. So if the dollar bill still had its worth back today as it did back in the 1920s, I don't think anyone at all would be complaining about getting tired of going to work. And this is a ghetto, and I don't want to be a part of this anymore, okay? They wouldn't be doing that. If you was getting $10 an hour today, getting paid $10 an hour, and the dollar bill was still had the worth it had back in the 1920s, you still be well off. You still be well off. You might not be super well off, but you would be well off. Part of the reason for inflation is because of the Federal Reserve. This video gonna probably get taken down. I'm fine with that. Tired of fooling around playing games with YouTube. That's part of the reason. The other reason is government spending that's been on a part, which goes back to the Federal Reserve, that's been on a part of both Democrats and Republicans. Both Democrats and Republicans have been involved in overspending and have inflated the gross domestic product and the depth of our country. How much trillions of dollars are we in debt? Like what? 15, 18, 20 trillion, something up there, like trillion. I've heard one person say, I didn't know there was a trillion. Yeah, that's a trillion. We really up there, okay? And part of the reason for that is because of government spending on both the Republican and Democrat sides. So both of them are at fault with that. And I'm not going to go into the detail of how that happens, but all I know is that it according to economists, is that when you spend a lot of money, when the government spends a lot of money, it's, first of all, it's not their money. It's taxpayers' money. Government officials not taking money out their pocket and out their bank account and adding to the debt. They're not doing that, okay? It's taxpayers, the workers' money, okay? They taking that money and then they spend it on programs or whatever, okay? But as they spend that money, they have to go to the Federal Reserve who prints the money. But the thing about the Federal Reserve is the Federal Reserve prints the money and loans it to the Treasury Department of the United States with interest. Since it's a loan, that means you got to what? Pay it back. But every time America gets in debt, what do? They go back to the Federal Reserve to get more money, and the Federal Reserve keeps pumping this money out. But the more they keep pumping this money out, the less value it has. Because you need more to pay the debt off. So now the money has less value. So that's one of the reasons why this country has such high inflation, government spending on the part of both Democrats and Republicans. Now, here's the deal with this young lady. She says, well, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of, this is a ghetto to me. I'm tired of this. I want out. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, my question is, what other option do you have? Because you really only have a couple of options. Well, 3 options. You can either become homeless and panhandle. You can be a thief and steal. Okay, but that's going to cause some problems. Or you can get on welfare. Okay, I'll guarantee you, the United States government wants you to get on welfare because the communists believe, okay, which the United States government is filled with, the communists believe that the government is the true God. That's one of the reasons why they reject God. One of the reasons why communists reject God is because they want the people in that country, okay, given country, to depend on the government as their God for every single thing. So if she was to get on welfare, they would love that, because ultimately that's the goal of the communist government anyway, is to get everyone dependent on them. What is that stipend? A universal something. I forget what it is. Universal pay, something like that. What one particular politician was trying to initiate some years ago. And it didn't really pan out, because how much money is that going to cost you? I mean, how much is that going to give everyone a monthly stipend of money, and maybe in a credit card or something like that? Man, you know how much money that's going to cost? You know how much inflation will go up? You know how much money that we would have to borrow from the Federal Reserve? Man, are you kidding me? How much money we would have to pay back? Let's go back to the Federal Reserve to get more money. Okay, try to pay it off, but we can't, man. We can't, because we're so much in debt. We're only paying off the interest. We ain't even got to the actual money that we're supposed to be paying off. We're just paying off the interest, which is billions and billions and billions of dollars. Stop it, man. Stop it. It's a revolving. It's a merry-go-round. So she has some 3 options. What I see here, what in reference to what this young lady is saying, as sincere as she may be, and I understand it, is that she will be almost like, in an indirect way, a mouthpiece for the communists and the socialists in our government, who will use this and others as a way to justify bringing socialism into this country, and then communism, which basically is utter, absolute government dependence with everyone. First, you got to destroy capitalism, one way or the other. And then you have to get everyone to depend on the government. Because you notice what these people were saying. Not all of them, but those that commented with her statement, well, you know, the managers need to pay this. Look, that's not how it works. That's not how it works in a business. Let me just say this, and I'm going to end this business. And this is according to the words of Thomas Sowell, who was a economist at one point, and he still deals with economics. He says, when a business gets started, and I'm paraphrasing some of his words, so if you want to really read what he has to say, you'd have to buy some of his books, like Applied Economics and Basic Economics. They really explain that. But I'm just paraphrasing what he has said. Essentially, how it goes in a business is that when a person wants to create a business, what they end up doing, they come up with an idea, and then they go to the bank to get a loan, and or they get in contact with venture capitalists who invest in their business. But in either way, whether they get a bank loan or go to venture capitalists to invest in their business, that's money that they have to pay back. Then they begin to hire the workers with the money that they have. Let's just say, for instance, they go to the bank and get a $20 million loan. I'm just stretching it, that's a lot of money, but you get what I'm saying. A $20 million loan. Well, let's say, for instance, they're trying to build a hotel or whatever, some kind of really, fancy place. Well, you get the $20 million loan. Now you got to hire the workers. You're going to have all kinds of workers. They have to be paid accordingly for their position, which means that their pay will be commensurate with their position. If you're a janitor, you ain't got no business getting $25, $30 to be a janitor. If you're a dishwasher, you ain't got no business getting $15, $20 to wash dishes. The skill level does not require that. First, if you do something like that, it will kill the incentive of the worker to try to strive to be more and want more. Because after all, if I'm getting $20, $25 as a dishwasher and there's no other positions there that I can acquire to, why try to acquire for anything? I can stay a dishwasher for the rest of my life, making $20, $25 an hour. Why? Why aspire for anything less? Anything more, rather? That kills the incentive to strive for more. So that's dumb. That's not the way to go. That's not how it works. That's how the politicians try to talk nonsense, but they have no clue of how economics work. Okay, they got to pay all of these people. These are liabilities. Once all the liabilities is paid, including the workers and all kinds of stuff, investments and all kinds of stuff. Once the liabilities are paid, whatever is left, that's what the owner and other people get. That's what the owner gets. Okay, it's not they get $20 million and then take all the money for themselves and say, I'm going to leave $1 million for everybody else and divvy it up. That's not how it works, because the workers are liabilities. And if people are working, come on, let's be realistic. You get on a job, you working 8 hours a day, and you get paid every week or every other week. At the end of the week or at the end of the other week, you expect to what? Get paid. How would it look if the owner of the place says, well, you know what? I don't have any money left to pay you because I spent all, was a thief and spent all the money that was loaned to them from the bank or that was given to them from the capital investors. You have a right to sue them. No business owner wants to be sued, so they have to pay their liabilities, pay their workers rather. So out of the $20 million, you're going to get paid the money that's commensurate with your position. And the owner is going to have to pray that they get a profit. Some businesses have been in business, if you will, for years, and they still haven't made a profit. But the money that they got from the loan they got from the bank, the money that they got from the capital investors, they still have enough to pay the workers. But sometimes they end up having to close because they haven't been able to make a profit. So what happens to the owner? The owner takes the brunt of all of that, not the workers. The workers, they leave, they go get another job. The owner has to deal with the weight of all of that. They have to deal with that loss, not the workers. Man, I could go on and on with this. So I understand her sentiment, but she sounds just like a lot of these other people out here who understand nothing about economics and understand nothing about other people's lives. Stop assuming because people got money, they're happy. They're not. You don't know that. You don't know their thoughts. I don't know their thoughts. You don't know my thoughts. I don't know your thoughts. Let's stop it. Come on, man. But yeah, I wanted to say something about that because this to me is just another mantra, another way of excusing implementing socialism. Okay, national socialism, and which will merge into communism. I see the writing on the wall. And if in fact more people are crying out about this, then I see where this is going. But the problem isn't business necessarily. The problem is government and the Federal Reserve and other things. Okay, now the businesses may have a stake in it, but for the most part, they're not. Why would a business, if the cost of living is going up, why mandate to a business where you got to pay your workers more money because the cost of living is going up, even though you're not responsible for the cost of living going up? So what ends up happening is you pay them more money, but other bad things come out of it. That sounds good. It's good for the people that's working, but for a lot of people that's not working and want to work, they end up getting X'd out of the equation. And then what that tends to do oftentimes is it tends to lead to hiring freezes. We have that right now in the city of Cleveland. There's several businesses. One of the my ex-employees was telling me where he works at. I used to work at a particular place. He constantly tells me they laid off more people. They laid off more people. They laid off more people. Or they're not hiring. They're not hiring anymore. One particular guy used to work with me. Okay. Another guy, security officer, used to work with me. He's no longer working anymore because the place where he's working in security, they cut his hours down to like 16 hours in freaking security. He decided to quit. What's the point I'm going to do with 16 hours? So he quit. Now, why do you think they cut his hours down to 16 hours? Do you think we need more higher wages? That costs something. Money don't grow on trees. It comes from somewhere. And this is what these liberal politicians don't tell people. They just push this mantra, this utopian mantra of socialism, and we'll pay everybody and take everybody. How are they going to pay everybody and take everybody? How are they going to do that? Unless they pump up more taxes out of the working people's pockets, man. Stop playing with me. But anyway, that's what I had to say about it. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.